Partners present.
The Commission undertook a fact-finding mission in the counties of Turkana, West Pokot, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Baringo counties amid the enhanced security operations against banditry. Additionally, media reports as of February 2023 indicated that 125 deaths occurred since June 2021 in parts of Elgeyo Marakwet, Baringo, West Pokot, and Turkana, due to banditry attacks, which corroborates the findings of the Commission. In Kerio Valley alone, at least 40 people were alleged to have been killed from January 2022 to March 2023. In early March 2023, 7 people, including 2 healthcare workers, were killed in a span of 4 days in Marakwet East. In March 2023, in what appeared to be coordinated attacks, bandits killed several people in Marakwet, Baringo, and Turkana counties and drove away an unknown number of livestock. During the political demonstrations that occurred in the country between March and July of this year, the Commission, through its monitoring and investigations exercise, recorded a total of 22 fatalities. The demonstrations, which resumed on 7th of July 2023 during the Saba Day, led to a further loss of 7 lives. Further protests called on 12th July 2023 led to the deaths again of at least 9 people. The Commission also recorded another 7 deaths before and during the 2022 electioneering period. The Commission commiserates with the families of those who have lost their lives and reiterates that the right to life is sacrosanct and one that needs to be respected by all persons. Where it happens, thorough and conclusive investigations need to be carried out. The Commission sustains its call for the criminalization of enforced disappearance and the ratification of the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance. The Commission reiterates its call for the full operationalization of the National Coroner Service Act so as to support investigation on deaths caused by violent criminal acts, extrajudicial killings, or deaths in custody. On the right to freedom and security of the person, secured under Article 29 of the Constitution, which guarantees every person's right not to be subjected to any form of violence from either public or private sources, or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment. The Commission regrets the resurgence of abductions allegedly committed by members of the National Police Service. 2 Indian nationals are said to have come to the country during election campaigns as ICT experts. Mohammed Zaid Sami Kidwai and Zulfikar Ahmed Khan and their driver Nicodemus Mwania were reportedly abducted on Mombasa Road. After a 4-week search, skeletons and items believed to belong to the 3 were found in the Aberdares. In February of this year, a South Sudanese refugee residing in Kenya, Maurice Mabior, a week back, was also reported missing after being allegedly abducted by armed men wearing police uniform from his home along Kangundo Road in Nairobi. In another separate incident, Osman Khalif, an aide of the Nairobi County Governor, is alleged to have been abducted on 10th of November 2023 by armed people and has since not been found. And recently, much more recently, we witnessed the brazen daylight abduction of one Jaswant Singh Rai in Kilimani area. Whereas the National Police Service has been implicated in these, no formal statement of confirmation or denial has been issued by the Inspector General of Police. The Commission acknowledges the government's counter-terrorism measures, some of which have started bearing fruits. For instance, during the 2022-2023 period, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution secured 23 convictions on crimes related to terrorism and radicalization. The Commission, however, notes with concern the recent spate of terror-related attacks that have targeted both civilians and security personnel in Lamu, Garissa, Wajir, and Mandera counties. Although reports from the National Police Service on the lives lost remain scanty, media reports indicate that at least 11 security personnel were killed and scores injured. In June 2023, 5 civilians were killed when armed assailants raided Salama village in Lamu County. This shows that with the recent trends, the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, the National Police Service, and the National Counter-Terrorism Center need to enhance the fight against terrorism and violent extremism while respecting human rights standards. During the demonstrations between March to July 2023, the Commission recorded cases where civilians sustained multiple injuries from rubber bullets, bullet wounds from use of live ammunition, injuries resulting from tear gas canisters, and baton strikes. The Commission documented at least 130 verified cases where civilians sustained serious injuries during the demonstrations. Moreover, the deteriorating security and humanitarian situation in the North Rift region of the country, occasioned by increased incidences of banditry, not only led to loss of lives and livelihood, but also displacement of hundreds of people despite the ongoing security operations. Notably, terror-related attacks have also disrupted lives and livelihoods in the prone areas. Pursuant to its mandate and respecting the African Commission Resolution 275 on protection against violence and other human rights violations against persons on the basis of their real or imputed sexual orientation or gender identity, and following the Supreme Court verdict in petition number 16 of 2019, the Commission closely monitored and investigated waves of incitement and violence against targeted populations on grounds of sexual orientation or gender identity. The Commission recorded 98 cases of harassment, death threats, and physical attacks, 57 cases of forced temporary relocation of persons suspected to be of sexual orientation and gender identity for fear of lives, and 8 cases of threatened evictions from houses. Other numerous attacks in the form of cyberbullying, blackmail, and extortions were also reported. The Commission condemns targeted attacks against any person or group of persons on any ground and calls for timely investigation and prosecutions for those found culpable of perpetrating the attacks. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we now turn to the freedom of conscience, religion, belief, and opinion under Article 232 of the Constitution. The report further revealed that out of 3 million unemployed people, most of them were the youth, and were in the youth in the age brackets of 20 to 29 years. This is very concerning as we have a youth bulge and largely unemployed. The Commission urges that both the county and national governments to avert the current youth unemployment crisis should redouble efforts towards expansion of opportunities for the youth to associate and participate in political, social, and economic activities, including in creative economy, as well as access employment as required by Article 55 of the Constitution. This will enable the enjoyment of the right to dignity, the right to work, hence livelihood, and an opportunity to contribute to their skills and innovation to spur the socio-economic development of this country. The Commission commends the state for ratifying the protocol to the African Charter on the Human and People's Rights on the rights of older persons, as well as the social protection program set in place for the elderly. Article 57 on the Constitution mandates the state to take measures to promote and protect the rights of older persons to, among others, live in dignity and respect and to be free from abuse. Nonetheless, the Commission has witnessed the continued violation of the rights of older persons. Elderly women in particular have been targeted on allegations of witchcraft. In February 2023, 2 elderly women were allegedly lynched in Murang'a County on accusations of witchcraft. The Commission recently carried out a public inquiry to establish the circumstances under which poor and elderly persons in Kisii County were accused of witchcraft and lynched. Similar cases of lynching the elderly have been recorded in Kilifi and Kwale. The Commission calls for heightened vigilance by security agencies and the national government administration officers to enhance protection measures, including by continuously creating awareness amongst the public on the rights of older persons, gathering intelligence on potential crime, and employing early interventions, as well as ensuring accountability of perpetrators. Furthermore, county governments and community organizations to support community conversations in the affected areas geared towards promoting community healing, resilience, creation of protective resources, and combating harmful practices and beliefs. Regarding the rights of persons with disabilities, the Commission welcomes a number of positive gestures towards promotion and protection of rights of persons with disabilities. For example, the enactment of the Mental Health Amendment Act 2022, which promotes mental well-being and the protection of persons with mental illness. The launch by the Ministry of Health of the Suicide Prevention Strategy 2021-2026 in July 2022 increased impetus towards suicide prevention and advocacy efforts towards the decriminalization of attempted suicide. The Commission also notes the development of the Kenya National Action Plan on Albinism. The Commission further takes cognizance of the ongoing efforts towards putting in place a responsive policy and legislative framework on disabilities, including National Policy on Persons with Disabilities, the Kenyan Sign Language Bill 2023, the Learners with Disability Bill 2023, and the Persons with Disability Bill 2023. The Commission decries the discrimination against persons with disabilities by political parties and subsequent decision by the IEBC to omit them during gazettement of nominated members of county assemblies in September 2022. According to the United Disabled Persons of Kenya, the UDPK, persons with disabilities have been excluded in the following 21 county assemblies: Laikipia, Kwale, Kilifi, Meru, Isiolo, Marsabit, Taita Taveta, Wajir, Tharaka Nithi, Machakos, Makueni, Turkana, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, Uasin Gishu, Baringo, Narok, Kericho, Bungoma, Nyamira, and Nairobi. The Senate Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity, and Regional Integration are seized of the matter. The Commission advocates for the fast tracking of the adoption of the National Policy on Persons with Disabilities, the National Action Plan on Albinism, the enactment of the pending disability-related laws, including Persons with Disabilities Bill 2023. These are long overdue. The Commission further advocates for the inclusion of persons of all forms of disabilities in design of all structures, development, and advancement in technology to ensure that no one is left behind. Article 56 of the Constitution obligates the state to respond to issues affecting rights of minorities and marginalized groups, including the indigenous people's rights. The Commission takes note of the June 2022 judgment by the African Court on Human and People Rights on reparations for the Ogiek community in Kenya, where it ordered, among others, that the government compensates the community the sum of 157 million for material and moral prejudice suffered. The money was to be paid into a community development fund, which was to be established within 12 months from the date of that judgment. The 12 months have since lapsed. This is yet to be done, yet the time frame given by the court has lapsed. On the contrary, more recently, we have witnessed, sadly, the wanton forced evictions of the forest-dwelling communities in Sasimwani and Kareta areas of Narok County without due process. We note and welcome the conservatory orders against the evictions in the ongoing court matter. The Commission calls for an immediate end to the evictions and calls upon the Attorney General and relevant ministry to ensure the full implementation of the Ogiek decision as recommended by the African Court of Human and People's Rights. We ask that a more inclusive dialogue and sustainable solutions be found once and for all to bring an end to the perennial indiscriminate evictions. The Commission further calls on the government to recognize the Endorois community in line with the African Commission on Human and People's Rights pronouncement and expedite the targeted registration process of the Nubian community. The Commission commends the government for its legal and policy recognition of the rights of intersex persons in Kenya and calls for support in the development and enactment of the Intersex Persons Bill 2023 so as to enhance protection and promotion of the rights of intersex persons. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, as the designated state organ in monitoring state compliance with regional and international human rights obligations, the Commission is pleased to commend state efforts led by the State Law Office and relevant ministries for the efforts in abiding by Kenyans' reporting obligations at the African Commission and UN Treaty Body mechanism. We support and encourage the ongoing dialogue by the state and non-state actors towards the preparation of Kenya's third cycle Universal Periodic Review midterm report and reporting under the various human rights treaties such as the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights and the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The Commission urges for full implementation of the decisions of the African Court and the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. The Commission further calls for the ratification of various conventions, including the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance, the optional protocol to the Convention on the Rights of the Child, on the sale of children, child prostitution, and child pornography, the second optional protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the optional protocol to the Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman, or Degrading Treatment or Punishment, the optional protocol to the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and the International Convention on the Protection of the Rights of All Migrant Workers and Members of their Families. In conclusion, the Commission recognizes the positive gains made by the state and non-state actors towards the respect, protection, promotion, and fulfillment of the rights of all persons. Whilst diverse efforts have been put in place, particularly in policy and administrative measures, much more effort needs to be concentrated towards the bread and butter issues, the socio-economic well-being of the citizens. This, in our assessment, is the most pressing human rights concern and threat to every household and most Kenyans today. We commend and encourage the productive partnerships between state and non-state actors and the cooperation and support we enjoy with you, our development partners, and international cooperation generally. Your valued partnership with both government and NGOs and ourselves as a national human rights institution continue to contribute to tangible realization of the rights and fundamental freedoms within our borders. We urge all of us, and indeed all Kenyans, to proudly be defendants and real champions of the Bill of Rights as obligated under the Constitution. This is the only way that as a republic, Kenya will continue to prosper both economically and politically as one people, one nation.